Hey guys, I would like to introduce myself. I go by Raven. I'm from the Pacific Northwest, Washington State, but Alaska boy at heart. Got sunrise filtering through the forest. It's beautiful. And I've been doing the van life touring for over 30 years. And well, hey, this is my first video, so catching up a little. I'll share a little bit of my history, and I'll give you a tour of my rig. I'm just going to give you a little back history. My first vagabond camper rig was an S10 pickup truck with a canopy, and I drove that to Colorado. I got off a fishing boat in Alaska. We lost a man overboard. It was awful. And I was like, what do I want to do? I was like, I want to go have fun and learn how to snowboard. So where do you go to do that? And I thought, well, Colorado. So that pretty soon my rig was loaded and heading to Colorado. I landed shortly later in Breckenridge, Colorado, went for one winter and stayed for like 6. That first year, just living out of that pickup truck, that S10 with the canopy, and it was roughing it. I was definitely roughing it. I started working lifts. I thought, that's the job. You get at a ski area, and I quickly learned that this is not the job if you want to be a snowboard bum, because you're working on all the good snow days. Moved into my truck, and I quickly learned how cold that was and how I was roughing it, and I learned where to shower and use the restroom and how to take care, how to wake up with frozen or not non-frozen water and food that wasn't frozen. So I throw it in my sleeping bag and sleep with it. But the next year I was like, I want some more comfort, and I upgraded to a 85 water-cooled Volkswagen van again, and ran that till about 2000 when its engine blew in Colorado at Grand Junction. And so I literally crossed the overpass and rolled back down to Grand Junction as close as I could get. And the only rig that I could afford in Grand Junction was an 86 Volkswagen van again, which is amazing and funny and just what I wanted. And it was $3,000 at the time. And we rolled one rig up, sliding door, to the other rig, sliding door, and we loaded everything out of one rig into the next rig, and we drove on from there. Both of them were passenger vans. I pulled the middle seat out, turned the back into a bed, threw my camping gear in, and we went for half a year or more at a time. A number of those years we went up to Alaska for half a year, put sea kayaks on the top, and camped out and toured around all over Alaska, and then came back to Colorado for the winters. And I still have that rig, that one I got in 2000, the 86 van again, and she's a rust bucket these days, and she kind of was from the beginning, but she still gets compliments. We pull into the gas station and people come up, I love your rig, man. And I'm like, yeah, isn't it great? How do you like that vintage rust? And they're like, yeah, that's amazing. That's funny. But she's not as reliable these days, and she's more of a short distance girl. But in 2020, I got this current rig, which is a 1990 Volkswagen van again, but the camper version, which is the Westfalia. And I'm going to give you a tour here in just a bit. And but yeah, it's had some issues. I won't go into those stories right this moment. Really, I just wanted to give you a little bit of my history. I've been van lifing for 30 plus years, and this is my first video, so I guess better late than never. Yeah, it's been an amazing journey, and that's one reason I think for me it's tricky just jumping in now and starting this tour, sharing my story, because there's so many crazy, phenomenal, beautiful stories from the past that I'd love to share. Maybe they'll come up, we'll see. But I'm ready to create new memories too, and with you guys, and journey forward. Okay, for the tour, I'm gonna switch the camera. I'll just show you around the cockpit of this cruising ship. There's a logo of mine. This is the Raven's Nest, and there's plenty of story around that. I'll share with you guys another time. I got some camera equipment here. The passenger seat, when there's not a passenger, often becomes a desk. I throw a chair there often, or whatever needs to kind of land there. Got some memorabilia from along the way. I love this center console. It's got plenty of room for sunglasses and catches little things. In the middle here, I have a binder for the different atlases I like to have handy. I have Washington, presently Oregon, Idaho, British Columbia. I was on my way there this spring before I had some issues. A trash can, a little library here of hike books and hot springs and some maps. Going down the road, I have everything's got meaning, actually. Here are a couple of totems of mine. The lion, I'm a born Leo, and bear, I've had many bear encounters and many stories with bear. So very powerful spirit animal for me. What else we got on this side? Some things close and handy: toothbrush, sunscreen, toothpaste. Yeah, that might actually be this cockpit section. And then I like to keep a clear pathway to make it easily back to the bed and the kitchen and all. And I will take you around to that side now. So living in a van is like, I like to think, I've never lived in a sailboat, but it's gotta be a lot like living in a sailboat. Like, space is a premium. You can't be hauling around tons of extra stuff you don't need. And everything kind of has this special spot so that you are organized and know where everything is. It's also, I think, like packing a backpack or packing a sea kayak. There's a certain art to packing in a way for those adventures so that you are prepared for everything that you think you can possibly be prepared for. So, all right, I'm gonna take you around the tour now, and so here we go. Yeah, so I will actually, let's take a look up here. There is storage up here, and yeah, right now I just got a hose up here, but sometimes I carry a gas can. I've had some extra firewood, a cooler, different gear up here. I normally have roof racks on top here, so right now I don't, because I need to get it in the shop, but I like to have this toolie box, and usually I have stuff like that I think I'm going to need, like a snow shovel, steel shovel, yeah, it could be extra chairs, paddles for the kayaks, tarps, traction pads, just all the different things. And then I have the Holinator kayak lift system to get the sea kayak up there, because with the tin top I used a step stool. This one's starting to get higher, so the Holinator is easier, and I'm getting higher in years too, so I like the extra help. And I'll show you that when it's back on top here, but right now it's still off because it's got to go into the shop here for a new engine. Sad to say, and kind of happy to say, because that means the beginning of trails. Just like I got some new tires recently I didn't want to get, but I'm like, well, you know, it means the beginning of trails, the beginning of new pathways and new journeys. So even though it cost a bundle, it's good news, hopefully, in the end. Okay, where to start? I guess we'll just start right here. This is a box of firewood, because I always like to have fires at campfires and have to have dry wood on hand. I'm always collecting, but it's nice to have some to start off with. Got tucked behind here a 2-burner Coleman camp stove, because I like to cook outside. It's not always so convenient to cook inside, just because of messy splattering and also the scents with animals and so forth. I like to try to keep the cooking smells outside the house. So that's one thing I do. I like to have that option. Down here I fashioned this box. There's a place to store shoes, and also a floor jack, and a spare saw, and a folding shovel here under the edge of the bed. Fits really nicely. Some extra storage, and a footstool to reach the toolie box and kayaks and such. Coming in here, there's the refrigerator. Not a whole lot in it right now, except a cold beer or two. And it's got a little freezer too, which is cool. Got dishes and some food items down there, and some extra propane and such. Utensils, flashlights, all kinds of little things in there. The actual stove is right here. This is my little meditation kind of setup, as candles and incense and things. Up here we have some spices, some more spices, some teas. Got a fan here for when it's hot. It runs down to the USB connection here. Got my sky vent there. And this is a pop top, and some prayer flags up for good vibes. There is some storage bins under here, and these are just to separate some gear. Bathroom condiments, the library. Back here there's also some kind of bathroom items and such. Basically the folding bench seat that came with the rig, and then I put a topper on there, a memory foam topper to help, which makes it super comfortable. We do have back here some closet space. There's also some closet space here. We do have a Webasto furnace, which is really nice, and I learned that last winter in eastern Washington when it was snowing sideways, that how amazing that is. It draws fuel from the fuel tank, and it burns very minimal amount of gas, and yeah, keeps it pretty toasty and warm, which is amazing. I have this is kind of like a recliner, turns it into a little bit of a living room space, so I can just kind of kick back and chill out. Often the bed is also a catch-all for all kinds of gear, because we like to go on kayak trips, backpack trips. So often there's duffels of kayak gear, backpacking gear. Like I said, we years ago loaded up for half a year at a time to go to Alaska. And those adventures, you can imagine all the gear you're packing. We've loaded up for surf adventures, had surfboards stored in here. So really, it's an adventure rig. It's an adventure lifestyle that it is what I've been pursuing. As I said, this does have a pop top, and so like a tent pop top, and it does have windows with screens, which is nice for bug netting. There is a mattress up here, so 2 people could actually sleep up here, and it's an easy climb. from literally right here, there, to up into the bed when it is popped up. Yeah. The sliding door, I also carry a bug netting screen for that because it's nice to sleep with cool air flowing through and the bugs staying outside. One thing I will do, especially when there's two of us in here, is I will take the gear at night and move it up front. It just piles up on the seats there. So yeah, and it clears the bed pretty quickly and pretty easily, which is nice. And I do like to try to keep a pretty clear passage from the back to the front, because I have been in places before where you might have some kind of sketchy people show up, or people just with, you know, doing sketchy things. A place in Canada where we were camping one time, and somebody just showed up in the middle of the night, burning tires, throwing gravel all over the place, loud blasting music, and it went on and on and on, and we were like, okay, I'm ready to leave any minute. And I was able to didn't have to get out of the rig, just, you know, move from the bed right to the driver's seat, ready to go. Yeah, just in case we needed a fast departure, which we didn't, which is good, but, you know, I like to have that option. What else is in here? I do carry a come along tire compressor. Actually, I carry a branch cutter for when I'm going down dirt roads. I love to travel the dirt roads. I mean, they go where I want to go. And so often there's low hanging branches, so I have a cutter for that. I have a bow saw to cut through smaller trees if they've fallen down across the road. I have a hacksaw, and I needed it once. And that's why you carry those things, because I got locked in. I actually had to one time cut through some barbed wire fence, which, and that stuff sucks. It's like, you don't want to do that. I got trapped inside this kind of large ranch area, and I needed to leave, and nobody was there. I'd gone down a steep road. I could not come back up. Nobody was on the ranch. It was like it was abandoned. There was no livestock or anything, and I needed to get out. And the easiest way to do it was to cut down some sagebrush and cut through that barbed wire fence, and just to drive around the gate to exit. So kind of sucked. Didn't want to do that, but at the same time, there was no other way around that situation. So anyways, it's great to be prepared, and that's why the point I'm making is it is like packing a sailboat, a very small space, and wanting to be prepared for all of life's challenges, all the mishaps that could happen, and being ready for those. So, and space is of a premium, so you do have to pack really conscientiously. I gave you the full tour. Obviously, it's a small rig, and there's a whole variety of van life approaches. And this is kind of the middle of the road between extremely extravagant and very bare bones. But yeah, so anyways, as you notice, there is no shower and there's no toilet. So the thing about van life that I love, and I mean, the reality of it is, for me, in my situation, and I think for a lot of people, is that this is the main room of the house. The focus is not all about the rig. It's about the lifestyle under the sky. It's about the spirit of adventure. It's about finding your own inner place to thrive in spirit. So yeah, I mean, part of the adventure is I got to go out and use the woods to use the toilet. And I like to do it really respectfully, because we've all been places where we found camps that aren't so clean, and I carry a shovel and degradable toilet paper, of course, and I always dig a hole, And so yeah, the earth's going to take care of the composting. And always make sure to go far away from water sources, rivers, lakes, and so forth. If there's a public restroom, of course, use that. Showers, that's another thing. There's plenty of places to use public showers, rest stops, campgrounds, many different places. It's ended up at times that I've, do a bird bath in a river, or jump right in a river or lake. And it's amazing. You jump in, and just jumping in, having that water rush over you, no matter how cold it is, and then wiping off with a towel, you feel so clean, and you just get that surface layer of dust and sweat off so fast. So it's pretty amazing. I also carry a shower bag, so that can be heated in the sun on the top of the Volkswagen in that roof rack, or wherever wherever, right? And but I've also filled it up at like a rest stop, gas station that has a deep sink, and I just fill it up with hot water. And I've taken that to camp before in the middle of winter in New Mexico, and we needed a shower bad. It was like freezing out and snow coming down, but we had a hot shower. It was brief. Cold wind, hot shower, and we did it. I mean, it's just like stuff like that. Just I think for me, there are these cool parts of surviving van life and surviving under the sky and using your ingenuity and getting really creative. So that's just a little bit of a window into my approach and to my philosophy of adventure van life. And yeah, I hope you guys tune in. I hope you subscribe. I'd love to see more of you and bring you along on the adventures and sharing those adventures. So yeah. I just love how nature loves diversity. So anyways, yeah, I mean, you go without some luxuries and you find a whole lot of other amazing luxuries, like peace of mind.